Alright, so today we're going to be changing the rear bumper on this 2011 Tacoma. The reason is the previous owner, before we bought it, looks like he jackknifed a trailer and it got into the corner of the bumper here, and it's kind of bent it up. See how close it is to the tail light compared to this side. I mean, it's not bad, but luckily I was able to source a factory bumper for cheap. This is not aftermarket, this is factory. Guy put a black bumper on his truck, and so he kept his old chrome one, and I ended up buying it. But it looks like the first step we're going to do, we got to get this plastic off. We got to get these lights off. So the first thing I'm going to do is zip these Phillips out. And then these lights should pop on out of there, and then we can just disconnect them like that. That way the lights are taken care of. And then a couple little pieces are already missing here. So you should have two of these, one on each side. This one's missing and the little insert's missing. I've got some new inserts, the little plastic rivets, expandable rivets. But I'm going to have to order another little cover there, and then one of these covers. Now, once I get this out here, see if I can get this in there. Jeez. I thought those were those expandable rivets. Maybe they're not. Okay, let me try to get that out. I'm going to need both hands. Okay, I did end up getting it out, but it would not pull. The center piece of this is supposed to pull up, allowing the body of this to get smaller so that you can pull it up and out of there. But the center of this is just really gunked up to where I couldn't even pull it up. But I ended up prying it out of there. Now I think, okay, we got a couple 10mm on the bottom, and then this cover here will be out. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these connectors. See if I can do this one hand. No, I'm going to have both. I'm going to go ahead and take the tag off. Looks like these are little plastic rivets, or they might even be screws. They're Phillips head, but they might be those expandable plastic rivets. And there's a fastener right there that I can't get, so I'm going to wait till the bumper's off, and then I'll finish getting that bolt out. But ideally, I got this side. You do want to get those bottom fasteners, because there's fasteners right here that you got to get. Then of course you got these, but those can be gotten right here. But the ones that the plastic trim's got to be off for are these right here. In fact, while we're here, let's go ahead and get that, and then we'll snap this plastic off here. What are those, 12s? Maybe. This truck's originally from Ohio, which is why it's got so much rust on it. I'm actually a little nervous about seeing what all kinds of rust damage we're about to find. I'm going to go ahead and snap this back up there just so that it doesn't break this lower tab off. Okay, so now we got to get the upper cover off. Let me figure out what I need to get here. Okay, and like a lot of these little Phillips rivets, you're supposed to be able to unscrew this center, which again causes the rivet to get smaller to where you can pull it out. See how it expands whenever the center is screwed in? The problem is that half the time, like this one here, it isn't unscrewing. You don't want to push, you know, too hard on them because they're just plastic, and they won't pull out. The plastic screw will just, as you're trying to pull it out, the plastic screw will stay in there. Okay, there we go. Now it's coming. So you just unscrew it. Again, light pressure, don't push in on it, otherwise you'll never get them out. Alright, so that should be it for that. Now this part just snaps off, but let me show you underneath and the way I'm planning on doing it. I don't know if you can see these little bits right here, but if you push in on them, my light's about to fall down in my face. If you can take some pliers and just kind of push in and up, then you can snap that piece off. I'm going to need two hands for this, but as you can see, I can push in on those, and I'm going to reach around and grab the plastic with this hand, and then as I push in on them, this plastic will easily be able to pull off. I don't know how else to show you. There's nowhere I can put the camera. So all I ended up doing was reaching up there with a screwdriver. As I pulled up, just put a little upward pressure on this with one hand, I took the screwdriver and I pushed in on these little tabs, and as I'd push in on each one, this would pop up. The problem with just getting up underneath here and popping it up, you might be alright, but what I was afraid of was breaking these off. And once you break these off, then you're going to have to replace the plastic. And this plastic's in pretty decent shape, so I don't want to break them off. So again, I'm just going to get up underneath this side after I make room. I'm going to pull up a little bit. This is the screwdriver I was using. Not too big of a screwdriver, but let me get my light. You can see them right there. So you want to start on the end, of course. I wish I could. So I'm reaching around and I've got the plastic in one hand. I'm just putting light pressure on it. Hopefully that's coming through. See how those are now out of the holes? So there's 2 or 3 more on the inboard side here, and then this plastic piece will be completely off. So let me finish popping it up, and we will press on. Okay, got it. And again, there's those little plastic tabs, so if you're careful and you push in on these, you can pop that off. And the reason that's got to be off is because you've got 10 millimeters, 12 millimeters here. This one, I think, is just part of the bracket that's bolted in. So actually it's just these two underneath this panel. You've got some that run along the bottom here, and so on. So I'm just going to get in here with a ratchet wrench. This side, of course, I'm going to use an impact. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of keep these in here finger tight right now, because I think these two right here is going to be the last. Since I'm doing this by myself, I don't want to have the bumper fall off and scratch the paint or anything like that. Okay, so now the only ones that are left, the 2 big ones do not have to come out. They go around the bumper. At least I don't think they're going to have to. It looks like this thing will slide off. These may end up getting in the way. If they do, we'll have to take them off. If the bumper slides straight back, we're going to have to take those off. And I just noticed I am going to have to take this plastic piece completely off here. Well, actually I don't guess I would have to. We got to get to these 10 millimeters underneath here. Take some black Rust-Oleum, scrape all this rust off, and repaint it before I put this new one on. So I think these outermost, I'll show you what I mean. See, that one there is just for a bracket that I think will come off with the bumper. But we do have to get these. We got one here and one here, and those are 12 millimeter apparently. So let me get my 12 millimeter. We'll knock out these 4 on the bottom, and we'll see if we're going to be able to pull this bumper off. That's been ground. I was trying to figure out that's what the bolt should look like. For some reason they ground on it. Okay, let's see if we can get these over here. Okay, guess I can wrench that one off. These are 12s. I'm just going to get up here with a wrench and wrench this off. Okay, we're going to try to get this bumper off. I got all the hardware out of it. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, I could probably pry it up over those bolts, but I think it's just going to be easier to go ahead and take these out. Especially since I have an impact. So let me get the hardware, or the tools I need to get those out. Okay, so those are 19 millimeter. Alright, bumper's off. That's what an Ohio truck is subjected to whenever they throw salt down on the roads. Not just in Ohio. Luckily this piece is just all bolt on, and even though I'm not going to replace it right now, I could replace just that piece, and that's just the trailer hitch. Now I would never trust this truck to actually tow anything really heavy, because that right there is definitely compromised. And I might not even worry about taking that fastener out for that plastic piece. So now you got these brackets here. Well, go ahead and snap the rest of these off. Got a tab there. Got some nuts, it looks like, and I'm assuming that is what's holding this plastic on. So we'll spray those down and we'll get the impact on those and see if we can impact them off without any kind of damage. Transfer these over and then slide that new bumper on. Okay, now this is the damaged side, and you can see where this has already kind of been broke loose, so I'm gonna have to take a look at that whenever I get it off. But there's still a tab here, and I'll show you what I learned on the other side. I took the other side off. What I had to do, since these are so rusted, what I did was I got my wrench in here, and I had to back this bolt up with a pair of vice grips. And all you got to do is loosen it. And once it's loose, the plastic will slide out. And that should be loose enough. There's a tab right here. And where'd my screwdriver go? If you get down here with this, actually what I used was these needle nose. Okay, now if this wasn't so damaged, it would slide out of here a lot easier. Which way does it go? I think it goes this way. Let me show you on this one. Here's the good one. You just loosen them off. So this is what you got. You got these little doohickeys that go in there like that. Once you loosen them off, this piece just slid right out that way. Once you undid this little tab. And like I say, this was the damaged side, and it's been really worked over. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But I'm going to finish getting these out. And then you got four 10mm on the bracket. In fact, I'll go ahead and get the bracket off right now. And I went ahead and put a nice coat of Rust-Oleum paint on that. Hopefully that'll help protect it a little bit. You didn't even see that, did you? Vice gripped out. That's the fun you get whenever you've got a rusted vehicle. So anyway, this bracket here, once I get this out with these vice grips, then I'll finish getting these out with the vice grips and the 10mm. Then we'll get it all transferred over. One of the other things you're going to want to transfer over are the little plastic retainers for the backup lights. These little things is right there. And I believe if you just squeeze them and push them out, then you'll be good to go. That easy. Okay, that is everything off of the old bumper. We got both their brackets. Of course, I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with this here. Really need to order another one. There's a part number on it, so that may be what I end up doing. Anyway, let me get this. I'm just going to transfer this over to the new one, and then I'll show putting the new bumper on the truck. All I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these brackets over right here on both ends of the bumper. Hopefully that one that came off the damaged end is not going to be too tweaked to where it doesn't bolt up on the new bumper. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with this. And then we'll go from there. Just to give you an idea of how light these bumpers actually are. I mean, I'm lifting that up with one hand just as easy as can be. So don't worry about needing two people to do this. So I'm getting ready to go back on with this bumper. I'll set the camera up and let you watch the install procedure. There it is. So now the only thing that's left is installing the hardware and then snapping the plastic back down. So you can see the holes are pretty much lined up. Of course, the two big bolts there, the ones along the bottom, that plastic cover that goes up, and then the bumper's going to be installed. And you can see how now, of course, we don't have the crease in the rear bumper, and the spacing between the light and the bumper is right. Anyway, I'll keep rolling, and I'll just fast forward through this part. Bumper is completely installed. The only thing, I've got to order a cap and a little cover for that. They were missing. I was able to get this side, even though it was damaged, I was able to get enough plastic sandwiched in between the bolt and the bumper to secure it. But anyway, one-man bumper install. No big deal, especially if yours isn't rusted the way this one was. You guys take care.